and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But The Secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Network. I'm Frank Perez, alongside my co-host Oklahoma Brian. You can find us on Facebook at Facebook at Fifth Street Sports Talk, Twitter at Fifth Street Sports, and also at fifthstreetsports.com. Well, folks, today is our show. We have a very interesting show today. We're going to have three really nice segments that Oklahoma Brian and I have scripted for you, and I think it's going to be very interesting, profitable. We're going to be touching on ways to make, because like yesterday's show on teasers, we're going to show you how you can find profitable situations where everybody thinks parlays are bad, you know, that you can't make money. Of course you can, and we're going to teach you how to bet parlays, the true odds, round robins, correlations in parlays. And we're going to break it down from the beginning. You know, Brian, like, don't you think it's a great idea that there's so many new people coming onto the market with the legalized nationwide gambling, that we have a little bit of a kind of like an entry level, because yesterday we got a little bit too far out there with, using teasers and points that a lot of people that are just getting into the market kind of called in and said, oh, that was a little bit, I didn't understand, how to go through the 7 and the 3. Well, today we're going to break down our parlays, how to use them, how to bet them, and all the great insight that you have on finding profitable angles in them.
We're going to hang out in the shallow side of the pool today a little bit.
No, but seriously, I think that we're going to go from the shallow to the real deep end, because when they see your last take on an angle, being able to, on the Sunday night angle, that's going to be the real deep end. So we're going to take you from A to Z, so now we'll be right back. We're going to take a little commercial break here, and we'll be right back on our first segment will be parlays, true odds, and how to use them for your advantage. So, because there's a lot of ways to make money with parlays. So when we come back, please stay tuned, and we will show you exactly how to use them for your benefit and not be taken advantage of in parlays.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Pedro Fernandez here. You might know me as the host of Ring Talk Live Worldwide, but this time I'm here to talk about that four-letter word everybody dreads, pain. If you have back pain or knee pain like I do, hey, you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. I'm talking about if Medicare is your primary medical insurance, and guess what? You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. Anything to help me with the pain, hey, makes it more manageable, gets my attention, folks. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for your back, ankle, knee, or shoulder, guess what? Give the Health Alert Hotline a call, toll free, 1-800-428-1570, 1-800-428-1570. You can qualify for a back or knee brace or a shoulder brace for little or no charge. 1-800-428-1570, the Health Alert Hotline, 1-800-428-1570.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez alongside my co-host Oklahoma Brian. Our first segment today, we're going to be chatting about parlays. And, Brian, what I wanted to have all of our listeners, let's do the fundamental on parlays. This is for a lot of the folks that are just coming into the market. Parlays is when you take two or more teams and they all have to, win in order for you to cash your ticket. So the first thing to do, let's have the difference between parlays and accumulators. Parlays, the odds are fixed on 50-50 propositions. So we're going to talk about how we get the true odds in parlays, which is, very simple once you get it. The true odds on parlays are on 50-50 propositions, that's with spreads, not accumulators, or let's say on a two-team parlay. There's 4 different possibilities, okay? Now, the way you figure out parlays is on a two-teamer, there's 4 possibilities. On a 3-teamer, there's 8. On a 4-teamer, there's 16. You keep doubling it, and that's the probabilities of parlays. Like on a 4-teamer, okay, there's 16 probabilities, so the true odds are 15-1. So you can just see that if you're betting parlays, most of the time on a 3-teamer, okay, there's 8 possibilities. So the true odds are 7-1, and they pay you 6-1. So you can see the juice there, or the vigorish, they're taking 1 out of 8 units, which is 12.5%. Now, to the folks that bet parlays, everybody thinks that these are bad plays, that you can't make money. Well, obviously, when you get to the 4-teamer and it's 15-1, and they're paying you 10-1, you can see that there's just way too much of a house edge. But we're going to talk today about, and then accumulators are different. Accumulators are like in baseball, let's say, or on money lines, when you're taking a plus 200 into a plus 200, it keeps accumulating at that rate, which is very good to be able to make money with. So today, Brian, we're going to touch on parlays and how to make an edge for the players. Your angle, what you were going to teach them was I'm not going to use that word anymore, teach, because I'm not a college professor. I'm here to have a good time and have the folks be able to make money doing this and have a good time. So Brian, our take was on your correlations in parlays.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So just kind of rehashing some of what you just said. I just wanted to remake this point. I know a lot of times if you're a new bettor or you're just starting out, you hear people tell you things like, don't bet parlays or don't bet teasers or don't do this. And the reality is, being a successful bettor, it's a lot like being a carpenter, I suppose, right? You've got to have a variety of tools in your tool chest, and there'll be a right time to use the parlay, to use the teaser, to use the straight bet, the if bet. We'll go through all of these tools, but I kind of think of the first day of shop class when I was in middle school, and they would tell me, "What? Don't touch the table saw. Don't touch the drill press," because before you know it, you could end up like the shop teacher with missing a few fingers. And we don't want that, right? We want you to be able to use all of the tools when it's appropriate, and there certainly are appropriate occasions to use parlays, just like there are everything else. But generally speaking, the situation that we want to use a parlay in is when we think that two outcomes have a mathematical relationship to each other, right? So if we think there's any kind of correlation between outcome A, one bet, and outcome, we'll call it B of a separate bet, and we can tie those into each other, well, that's an advantage to the player. And we're going to try to identify those situations. So you mentioned a correlated parlay. The most classic correlated parlay, I guess, that comes to mind is if you think of soccer betting, right? If you have the ability to bet, let's say the draw to the under, which is a bet, believe it or not, that a lot of books, even in 2018, are still offering. If a game goes under, let's say 2.5 in a soccer game, the odds of the game being a draw are significantly higher than if the game didn't go under 2.5. So there's an example of a correlated parlay that you as a bettor would run to bet, and the bookmaker, if he's smart, would prevent from happening. And American football, give us an example, Frank, of what a correlated parlay might be.
Let's say this happens very often in college. It's tough to get in the pros. In college, let's say a team like an Ohio State is playing a much weaker team, and they're minus 38, and the total's 45. Well, a correlation would be you either take Ohio State minus 38 and over 45, or the other side plus 38 and under 45. So what we're trying to say here is that, see, when you're betting a two-team parlay, for instance, you're getting plus 260, 13-5. But in a correlation parlay, like if one thing happens, the other one is much likelier to happen. Like if Ohio State covers that 38 points, it's very likely the game goes over. So you're getting plus 2, or if the game goes under 45, it's very likely that plus 38 is going to be good. So if one thing happens, the other one is much likelier to happen, and then you're getting plus 260. Now,
that's right. So when I get accounts all the time, people give me accounts to bet on, and that's what I do. One of the first things I do, I mean, please don't think I'm a bad person, but every professional gambler does this, is I go around and I look for weaknesses in the software. What does it take that's an advantage to me? And I think of the analogy of, if I were a burglar, I'm not. I would go around and I would try to open your windows. I would look for unlocked doors, anything that makes your house vulnerable to being broken into. From a betting standpoint, anything that gives me a plus EV or gives me a mathematical advantage of the house, I'm going to find that, and I'm going to remember that, because it's a long season, and I want to know who are the books that take correlated parlays. I want to have them memorized. So when I see a situation like your Ohio State situation, or a second half where the total might be 24.5 and the side might be 14, incredibly correlated, I want to know instantly, where are my books that take that kind of bet, and I'm going to go to it.
And that's a first half correlation, and like you have to start thinking in probabilities, because this is all about math here. Even in hockey sometimes, don't you remember that one, we used to do correlated parlays where they let you parlay the minus 1.5 to the over 5. That's a big edge, because if you're laying 1.5 and they cover that 1.5, it's very likely it goes over 5, or vice versa. You take the 1.5 and the 5, because if the game goes under 5, it's likely that 1.5 is good. But Now let's do the math. Now, what I wanted to have an example is, especially there's a word out here in Vegas that they use on parlay cards, and it's a very tricky word. They even use it at the crap table. It's the word 4 and 2. Remember, true odds on a 3-teamer are 7-1. When you pick up a parlay card here in Vegas, they try to trick you over here. They'll use like the terminology like 6.5, 4-1. That's 5.5 to 1. So that word 4 and 2 is a very deceptive word at the crap table and on parlay cards. So be careful with that, because like your odds, like your parlays versus betting it off the board or on a parlay card should be 7-1. Okay, but it's 6-1. So be careful with that word 2 and 4. It costs you a unit. And there's another thing that I wanted to mention on profitable situations, even on parlay cards. I have found them. Now everybody thinks, oh, you got to be crazy, Frank. How are you going to make money betting parlay cards? It's very simple now, and you can't go past probably the 3-teamer. A lot of the times the parlay cards are printed on Wednesday afternoon here in Vegas, and a lot of the games by Friday or Saturday morning, you'll see totals that are, let's say in the NFL 47, and on the parlay card is 49.5. And you'll see a game like Tulsa -5 and it's 8, but it's still on the parlay card at that. Now, if you can use those, there's a lot of equity in those 3 points. So if you can find those and keep round robining those around, you can actually make money on the parlay cards. Believe there's enough edge. But folks, we are going to take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about NFL round robins with Brian, that he has found us a nice edge. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from Resort Release, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares. Once you've made that decision to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, Resort Release is offering a Better Business Bureau accredited way to legally get rid of your timeshare, guaranteed. We guaranteed to get rid of your timeshare payments permanently. Even if you've tried another company to get rid of your expensive timeshare, call now and see if we can help you. At Resort Release, you don't pay anything until you're ready. If you're ready to learn how to permanently get rid of your costly timeshare, make this complimentary free call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
If you or someone you love suffers from drug addiction, now is the time to utilize your private health insurance PPO plan. If eligible, receive up to $30,000 or more in substance abuse benefits with low or no out-of-pocket cost. We are the National Treatment Network, the premier drug and alcohol treatment referral service operating 24/7. We help connect you with facilities nationwide that accepts PPO private health insurance for substance abuse. If you have PPO substance abuse coverage and you need immediate admittance to a medical detox or residential rehab treatment center, call us now. Call our live referral helpline today. The call is free. This program is not available to Medicare or Medicaid customers.
Call 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. That's 800-296-1252. Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Welcome to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez alongside my co-host Oklahoma Brian. On this segment, we have a really fun and great profitable, potentially great profitable angle here in week 1 of the NFL. Brian we have discussed a really good round robin situation. So Brian, let's talk about what we were talking. You said about the overs and the announcer in the booth. That was really interesting. I think be really nice to share that with everyone.
Oh, okay, sure. So interesting angle for the first week of the NFL season. We know that there's been a pretty significant rule change in the NFL this year with a rule that makes it difficult for defenders to attack with their head. And the league has gone to great lengths to throw a lot of flags if they think that, that the defender is attacking with their head. It's created a lot of opportunities for offenses, and the scores of football games have been higher scoring in the in the preseason. We expect the same thing to continue in the regular season. One interesting thing though this year, NFL broadcast on NBC, the Sunday night team with Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. They've added a third person to the booth this year, and I think it's kind of a neat addition. It's Terry McAulay, the former NFL referee. You might have seen him. He did the Hall of Fame game.
Right.
He was very astute in predicting that there would be a lot of flags thrown during the preseason. It'll be interesting as we go into the first week of the NFL season. NBC has that first broadcast on Thursday night. What was the game, Frank? I think it's Atlanta, Philadelphia?
Atlanta and Philadelphia.
So this guy, McAulay, really, he's been a referee forever, and he's good friends with a lot of the referees. He actually told us specifically what the language the league used to the officials, telling them when in doubt, to throw a flag. I think the NFL still kind of huddling up, trying to decide how they're going to emphasize this rule change during the regular season. But we'll see when we get to this Thursday night game. I think it'll really be insightful into predicting how things are going to go on Sunday, right? The 11 games or 12 games that follow, 13, I guess. Or 14. My point with the round robins of the NFL, one of my favorite tools on week 1 of any sport, if there have been any kind of rule changes or anything's changed, I love the round robin attack, because really in a round robin, we're trying to do one of two things. We're either trying to circumvent limits on a micro sport, right? Like women's basketball, where we can't get enough down with straight bets, or we're trying to hit the home run if we think there's going to be an extreme outcome, like maybe 12 of the 15 games go over. That's certainly a possibility in the NFL this year. Or by contrast, maybe you think these totals are too high and you think that they're going to really take their foot off the gas in throwing flags. We'll get some sort of insight by watching that first game. And I think, it's a bit of a lottery, but I think it's worth a round robin on the first week of the NFL. Right. And, you'll see us talk about things like that throughout the year, like in college basketball. If we have a tournament with 4 games in the same arena and we think there might be tight rims or loose rims, or maybe during the college football season, if we think on Tuesday that there's a high pressure system over, the Canadian prairies heading down towards the Great Lakes on Saturday, then we have a chance for huge wind. Anytime we think we have a cluster of extreme outcomes, the best way to profit from them is by playing them into a round robin. And the first week of the NFL fits into that
right, especially.
category.
But but the point, but you make a great point. We got to really watch that Thursday night game. And if they start flagging everybody and keeping these drives going, and these games are flying over, I mean, these safeties and linebackers right now, like they're wrapped tighter than an airport sandwich. They are. I mean,
that's right.
Like they're scared to hit. They're scared to do anything. And if they keep these drives alive with these flags, well, the same thing's going to happen Sunday. And then after 1 week they're going to adjust. So you might as well, like you said, do that cluster and just round robin them all one way or the other. But usually the over. If you see them flagging and you see drives being kept alive, I would round robin the heck out of it.
I think it's a phenomenal play in the first week. We know, right? I know a lot of us bettors talk about this in the NFL specifically over the last 5 years. One of the really significant things in the NFL is if you're the team who's losing, by more than a field goal in the final, few minutes of the game, and you have four downs, right? You're going to be running a play on fourth down. It is so easy to score in the NFL with a good quarterback, and an efficient offense. So now you throw in that same scenario and the ability for the quarterback to throw over the middle, which is really that's the big takeaway with this rule change is that over the middle pass to the slot receiver or tight end or running back. It's going to be there all year. And in the past, that was an intimidating throw maybe because the receiver thought he was going to get his head taken off. But I think that's going to be really where the game evolves, and the biggest change you see in football is that over the middle pass. And I think.
Do you remember watching on TV years ago? They would have highlights on vicious hits in the NFL, and you would see Atkinson and Tatum and all these unbelievable ball. They jar the ball, they would flatten these guys out, and you'd watch these. Those are going to be like X-rated. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to be able to, like in 2 or 3 years they can't show that kind of stuff anymore with these new rules. But I had a different kind of angle to it, and I'm going to go with like a Freakonomics kind of. If you ever read Freakonomics, how they go like opposite or contrarian.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody, right? They're going to be really watching this pass, and the quarterbacks are going to exploit it, and these secondaries are going to be real touchy with flags. I believe that that's going to create tremendous situations for teams to be able to run the ball, because other teams are going to be so focused on the pass, and everybody's going to be thinking, oh, they got to pass. They're going to be doing these 15-yard outs and through the middles because they're going to get away with a lot of stuff. It's going to leave tremendous running lanes open. You know that? I'm going to go the other way with that.
Makes sense.
I'm going to actually go. So I would have a backup as a great running team because they got to be watching for the pass because everybody's going to be doing it. So
interesting,
right?
Yeah, I think you're going to see more teams going for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. I think, and we've known for years, mathematicians have told us that NFL coaches don't get the math right, that the correct play on 4th and 2, anywhere outside of your own 30-yard line is actually to go for it. But it sounds daunting to a NFL coach. But, we see with each generation of younger coaches a higher propensity to kind of make that bold call to go for it on 4th and 2. We get a little closer with this rule change this year.
Yeah, you know what kind of started opening up the mindset for that kind of thinking was the Golden State Warriors shooting all these threes because of the they started figuring out like you got to hit so much of a less percentage, hitting when you're shooting for threes. Same thing with going forward on 4th down. And one thing that always puzzles me when these Ohio State teams and these Penn States and all these big name teams, when they schedule these really easy teams where the spread's 40, 47 the first week, I don't understand how these teams, when it's 4th and 2 on their own 32, I'd go for it. Go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? I'd be going for it on every 4th down. What's the difference between losing 77-0 and 63-0? I mean, how they schedule you to make a fool out of your university so you can lose 73-3. You're hoping to get that field goal. I'd go for it on 4th down every single time. What's the difference? And just like the same thing I always thought with tennis, when like you have a guy like with Roger Federer or the other one that's going to grind you down like with Nadal, but I had a great serve, I would be going for an ace serve on both serves. I'm going to be out of there in 45 minutes, believe it or not. But you know that if you play them conventionally, you have no chance. Same thing with a lot of these NFL teams. I'd be just like you. I mean, how much would you like to shake it up on 4th and 2 on your own 38? Go for it.
You know? Totally. Have you read about this coach in Arkansas? I forget where he is in Arkansas, but they never do anything other than go for it. 4th and 14 on their own 20, they go for it. The guy goes for it at every possible, and I believe they're the winningest team in their division in Arkansas football. But you see it with a lot of I think Mike Leach, I suppose you could say, was the first generation of that type of thinking in college football, or Hal Mumme, I suppose, a lot of those type guys. But that philosophy is starting to make its way into the NFL, and I think we'll see a lot more of it next year.
It will. I mean, it's like who was it? Billy Bean, the guy with the Oakland A's. You got to start thinking math, and they are. But back to our one thing. So now on the Thursday night game, if we see a lot of flags and we see this game over, I'm with you. I would sit there.
I'd pull the trigger. Yeah.
Just pull the trigger and round robin all these teams over on Sunday, because it's going to be a flagathon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And like you mentioned, and you can do that with any sport where there's a new rule change, where if one, it's going to affect 15 different possibilities. Round robin the heck out of them.
Yeah, or weather, or severe weather coming in October to college football.
Well, remember your weather games when you would give us like 6 MAC games going under? Just round robin all the unders. If it's going to be raining here, it's going to rain 20 miles away. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to be taking a break here. That was a great point that you made to him. When we come back, Ryan, we have a nice segment.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774. It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez with alongside my co-host Oklahoma Brian. And Brian, you know what? I really wanted to clear up, like the last two shows so far, what we've done is a lot of the fundamentals on teasers and parlays and correlations, how to extract. I was going to tell a lot of our listeners, starting tomorrow, see, I wanted to get these basics down on how to bet, how to use them. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be releasing plays, valuable edges on certain games. But I wanted to get this out of the way. And one things that I really wanted, that I have a passion for, because I've been in this spot. Remember, I've been in Vegas 54 years. I've been, I came from a long generation of a gambling family. So I've seen all the do's and don'ts. And besides math and having an edge or something, there's always emotion in gambling because there's money involved. And one of the cancers, or one of the tumors that I've always seen in this sports betting, is the chasers and the steamers. Because remember, every sharp person, every one of these guys, Johnny Avello, all of these guys that are now sportsbook managers, that have been, and that even on the offshore ones, we were all squares, we were all suckers at one time. So one of the things that I wanted to do on this show was to have our listeners grow and not make the same mistakes. If you did, and one of the real bad things that I've always seen in gambling is, let's say it's Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, you've had a bad week and you're losing $3,000 or $4,000, $5,000. One of the worst things, one of the ugliest things to have to try to do is on Monday or Tuesday is come up with that envelope for $4,000 or $5,000. And then we chase and we steam and we bet 3 or 4 times what we usually bet on the Sunday night game or the Sunday night baseball game. And then eventually, a lot of the times, we always lose that game. And on Monday, when you owe 18,000 or 20, you look back and you say, gosh, why did I do that? I mean, 4 or 5 looks really big right now. So that's the main thing. And I'm going to talk about that on every show at the very end, is do not chase, do not steam. Suck it up. If you've lost, some of the most successful stock traders, the ones that make the difference between the good ones and the great ones, is they have those 3 words: take me down. I know it hurts. I know it sucks. We're stuck. To keep your bet the same. How many times have you seen, because sports is like mathematics, how many times have you seen a guy, you get a great tip, let's say, or a great information on Starbucks, and so you buy it at 45 and it didn't work out and it goes down to 38. They take it. They take it right on the chin. Sell. I'm out. Next game, next week. They don't sit there and say, oh, Starbucks went down to 38. Let me buy 100,000 shares of IBM because I'm stuck in steaming. This is a marathon. Like you always say, it's a marathon. And that's one of the worst habits that really makes a season ugly, gets you in a bad spot, you're going to be stressed out, is not to chase and steam, especially towards the end of the week or a few games before your settle number or your settle thing comes up. But with that being said, Brian, you have extracted an angle to be able to use chasing and steaming in a profitable way. Share that with us.
Well, I want to echo everything you've said, and we've all been there. Everybody who's ever made a bet, at some point they have to evolve. If they're going to become successful, they're going to have to evolve out of that mindset of you can't be a winner every day of your life in sports betting or every week. You got to acknowledge you're going to have losing days and losing weeks, and get used to turning the page. When you wake up the next day, as long as you keep it under control, you're going to feel great. Keep plugging away. Like you said, it's a marathon. But in terms of the public's mindset, the public does like to chase. I don't know if you remember this, Frank, but you probably will. Back in the old days, the same day as the Super Bowl, I don't know if you remember this, the Vancouver Canucks used to always play a hockey game that night, right? A Sunday night after the Super Bowl. Yeah. It was the heaviest bet hockey game of the entire year.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody would try to get even on that hockey game. I don't think they've played that in years, but two things this time of year we do have. Sunday night baseball is notoriously a favorite for the public trying to get even. Public loves chalk on Sunday night, right? When I say chalk, I'm referring to to the favorite team. They love to bet the favorites on Sunday night. So I'm not telling you that you can make an entire betting business out of just betting dogs on Sunday night, but I will say there is a little bit of value. So when in doubt, if you're looking for an angle on Sunday night baseball, and you have a good price, 10-cent book, low juice, go ahead and throw it on the dog on Sunday nights. Sunday night football isn't as clear cut because sometimes the dog can actually be the public play. But again, it's the same mindset. Try to figure out what the public is doing, and when the public zigs, you zag, and that's really, really true of any prime time sport, that happens on a Sunday night. But really, we could say the same thing about Thursday night football, Friday night football. When you have that one defining game that everyone's watching, you're much more likely to have square money on that game.
Yeah, but especially that last game with that Sunday night game, notoriously the totals fly over to this. Now it's not like the old days where they would just keep going up. Now there's a lot of sharps. Like when they start taking, let's say the Giants are -4 Sunday night, and they start taking that game to 5, 5.5, 6. Then it comes back down because the sharps see that this game is just being chased and steamed, But Sunday night steam, you can really find some very, very nice little tasty prices. But to our listeners, I do not want you guys to be the ones that steam. Do not be the ones that chase and steam. That's one of the things that on this show I'm gonna repeat it every single time, because that will take the heart out of any season. It will make you will be miserable and stressed out. Keep your bets the same, like you just mentioned. Turn the page. Next week is another week. And what Brian, what you and I talked about is these first 2 days we have done a lot of the fundamentals of teasers, parlays, not chasing, some of the emotions and everything. Starting tomorrow, on tomorrow's show, we are going to start releasing some of our sides. But we wanted to get this out of the way so that we don't just give you a bunch of sides and then you don't know how to use them or bet them. So we have done these first 2 shows, some of the fundamentals on gambling and on teasers and betting, so that at least when we give you these selections, they're going to be very high edge plays, and when we give you these selections, you can use them to the best. But keep your bets under control, and you're going to see tremendous edges in some of our plays. Very unconventional. We're not going to give you the TV games. There's going to be very few of our games that are going to be on local high-end TV. We're going to bet a lot of the Marist against Siena and stuff like that, but that's where the edges are. So what do you think about starting tomorrow, Brian, and we start releasing really nice plays to the listeners?
Sure. Yeah. If I have something that I think is of value, I'll absolutely share it. And I know I think we have an announcement coming up in a couple weeks with a information service that's doing something pretty unique this year. And maybe I'll save that for tomorrow. We'll mention that tomorrow. But that I'm pretty excited about this. This has a chance to really kind of disrupt the market, and I think our listeners will enjoy it.
Oh yeah, we're going to be giving out very, very profitable, weird, funky bets, really high edge situations. And remember, by the way, every one of our things that we talk about and we mention and we recommend to our listeners, we bet them ourselves. We're not these touts that are going to go 90% and this and that and shouting. Like anybody that calls you up and they say that they go over 70%, just hang up. Don't even waste your minutes. When they say I'm 18-1 and I'm just hang up, because if I was 18-1, believe me, I wouldn't be calling nobody. Okay? If I was 18-1, I wouldn't call anybody. So, when we give you these plays, they're going to have positive EV, and we bet them ourselves. We're not just going to sit there and tell you to bet this, and we're going to give you really good stuff so that you stay tuned into the show. And what was the other, Brian, you mentioned another thing is when we start giving these players high edge situations and they're going to start changing their habits and becoming profitable, what was that thing you mentioned about a really good angle with your bookmaker on how not to get greedy and, you know, how to really milk it, you know, instead of just pounding the guy?
Well, I do remember a conversation we had recently about, So one thing I always tell people, bookmaking and betting is a weird relationship because we usually are friends with our bookmakers somewhat, right? It's a fairly social activity. And we have to be careful, though. We want our bookmaker to like us and know that we're honorable and he can count on getting paid by us. But we don't have to necessarily show off how smart we are, because I can tell you, as a somebody who's worked on both sides of the counter, I'm not looking to take bigger bets or to give better odds to people that I think can hurt me. So be a little bit guarded. I think the story that I was telling you about was relates to teasers. I think that was the topic we had for the last show. But I think I mentioned that I always played Wong teasers, but there was an exception to that. If I typically play 4-team teasers at plus 300 because that gives me the best odds. But if I had a game that was a stone cold loser, right? Like say I had a game with 2 or 3 open spots, and I knew that my teaser was going down the toilet, rather than just let it go down the toilet with 3 open spots, I would go in and throw the clunkiest, most awkward plays in there, like teasing NBA totals or college basketball totals, just things that are horrible bets for the player. But at least my bookmaker gets to look at the account and say, wow, this guy's an idiot. I can't believe he teased a college basketball total. Right. And so that's good. I mean, it gives you a little bit of capital in terms of your bookmaker underestimating you.
Yeah, that's how you get cover, because and the reason why we're talking about this is because when you stay with us here, stay tuned on Fifth Street Sports, you're going to be a sharp player. You're going to win. So we're giving you now situations and angles that, how to like, you don't want to go crazy. You don't want to win too much and get kicked out. It's better to win, it's better to win a nice, decent amount every week. And every time, like Brian just mentioned, every time you get the chance to show yourself as a square, or what we call an L7, like closing up those teasers with really horrible, real sucker situations, do it. Give yourself cover. You want to, right? I mean,
absolutely. I'll give you another example. Let's say we talked about parlays today. Let's say you had a book that lets you make that Ohio State parlay you described, right? Minus 38 and over 45. Okay. If you ever find a book like that, and you will, if you're in this business long enough, you'll find it. Don't just put those parlays in there, because they'll identify you and toss you. If you ever are lucky enough to find a book that has that, blend in as much meat and potato corny stuff as you can. Throw a horse race in there.
And don't bet it for the max. And if it's $1,000 limit, bet it for $250. Throw in other stuff. Give yourself cover, because remember, you don't want to be that fat hog that gets slaughtered. You know what I mean? Just nice and easy. Great point. Right? I mean, that was, we've been, one of the things that, is a big key here is, as a winning player, is how to now you got to try to find books. Books aren't going to try to find you. Well, we're gonna take a break here. This is Frank Perez alongside Brian Allen with Fifth Street Sports, and we'll be right back in just a few seconds.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. One call to Wall and Associates, and your tax problems are solved. Wall has saved clients over $150 million in the last 5 years. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Remember, Wall has a proven track record with a total client savings over $150 million. Call now for your free face-to-face consultation. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. I'm Frank Perez. We only have a few minutes left here to wrap up this show with my co-host Oklahoma Brian. Now, you know, I just before we go, Brian, we touched on a lot of stuff, but I wanted to give our listeners the math model on NCAA on how to correlate a parlay. Here's the quick math model on it. It's 3-1. Okay. For instance, you see Tulsa minus 20 and the total's 52. It's 3-1 on the total. Both of them have equity. Minus 20 and over 52 or plus 20 and under 52. Both bets will show equity. Now, if you want to determine on which one you take, go, you shop around, and if you see 20.5s or 21s, then you lay the 20 and go over. Or if you see a lot of 19.5s or 19s, then you take the 20 and go under. But that's the model, 3-1 from spread to total. Okay, because
Let me throw one.
Go ahead.
Let me throw one at you, Frank. So let's say it's a static line that it's let's say it's 20 and 60, and it's the same line painted everywhere. Gun to your head, do you go dog and under or favorite and over?
I go dog and under.
Me too.
That's the correct way, I think. When in doubt, dog, and when in doubt, under, always. So just think about that at all times. But that's the math model on NCAA. Very rare that you're going to find it in the NFL because the totals are 45 and there's not a lot of spreads that are 15 or 16. But in college football, you will find it, and it's 3-1. It also works in the first half now too. You see like Notre Dame minus 9.5 and the total's 20. That's a 2.5 to 1. So you would take minus 9.5 and over 20, or vice versa.
Great point.
Well, folks, remember we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to start releasing sides and situations. We did have a caller on Facebook. I will do the homework on your Buffalo bet. You took Buffalo in week 1. Brian and I will do some homework on that and get back to you. We want to thank everyone for listening to us here at Fifth Street Sports on SB Nation Radio broadcast. alongside Facebook at Fifth Street Sports / Fifth Street Sports Talk and Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. Ryan, thank you very much. Great show. Tomorrow, let's start giving them some money makers here.
Sounds good.
All right.
See you then.
Great show. Well, thank you very much. And we are going to start, can't wait till tomorrow here at FifthStreetSports.com along with Oklahoma Ryan.
USA Radio News.
President Trump's former personal attorney, Michael Cohen, pled guilty today to connection with financial fraud investigations against him as part of a deal with prosecutors that include jail time. Cohen could face anywhere from 3 to 5 years in jail. Senator Richard Burr is the head Republican on the Senate Intelligence